treatment in Clinton today because Gibson gets it.
From the Hart Media Group newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning, and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. The news is brought to you by Baum Chevy Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, as well as Connexus, offering fiber internet in Clinton. Click their icon on DeWittDailyNews.com to find out more. Illinois lawmakers are taking steps to regulate synthetic hemp-derived products while simultaneously relaxing operational rules for state-licensed cannabis dispensaries. Tony Kirkman, executive director of the Piatt County Mental Health Center, explains that the General Assembly is working to close legal loopholes surrounding Delta 8 and Delta 10 products. The state is now moving to restrict these unregulated substances to keep them out of the hands of minors.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things that the General Assembly is trying to address. One of them is the dangers of what we know as Delta 8 and Delta 10 marijuana. And basically, in a nutshell, is the hemp law that was written very, very tightly so that you could still farm hemp, but you could still ban what they would call marijuana. And that's based upon the amount of THC in the chemical that's known as Delta 9. Well, what ended up happening is that there were chemical manipulations that allowed the Delta 9 THC to be reconfigured to a Delta 8, Delta 10, which still had the mind-altering effects of cannabinoids.
Yeah.
So that's why you were able to get some of these gummies sold at vape shops and whatnot. Well, the General Assembly basically said we're going to start putting more restrictions on mind-altering substances so they don't get in the hands of minors. And so that's what they've done.
At the same time, new state rules are expanding retail options for licensed dispensaries, allowing extended operating hours up to 2 a.m., curbside pickup, drive-through service, and the ability to handle security in-house rather than outsourcing. Additionally, the legal possession limit for industrial hemp flower has doubled from 30 to 60 grams.
They've also doubled the amount of possession that a person can have in hemp flower. So it used to be 30, now it's 60 grams. And so for your listeners, think in freezer bags. So you can have up to 2 freezer bags of flower, and that would be the threshold for minor consumption. It allows a designee of somebody that has a medical marijuana prescription to designate somebody to go and pick it up for them. It increases the hours that a dispensary can open. So now they can be open until 2 a.m. They have now allowed dispensaries to be able to have curbside or drive-through accessibility. And they've also said that you no longer have to outsource your security to an outside security firm. You can actually hire within. So I think what they're trying to do is lax some requirements when it leads to rec and medicinal marijuana, but also really trying to tighten up on some of these unregulated Delta 8, Delta 10, and they're looking at kratom, which is a derivative of a synthetic opioid. So they're trying to get some of these deregulated stuff, get a handle on it.
While the expanded dispensary rules aim to streamline business operations, Kirkman expressed concern over increased accessibility. He emphasizes the human brain's prefrontal cortex is not fully developed until around age 25, making youth particularly vulnerable to substance abuse.
We have a lot of prevention services in DeWitt and Piatt County. In fact, we go to every single school in DeWitt and almost every school in Piatt to teach the dangers of underage alcohol and substance use. Because, your viewers know this, the brain, the prefrontal cortex isn't fully developed until about the age of 25. So that affects some of your decision-making, moral compasses, risks, consequences, emotional regulation, all of these things. And I just asked the question of why would you want to put a undeveloped brain to be exposed to mind-altering substances? So I'm a big proponent of prevention work, educating our youth. So, and all of that's my setup for this. What we look at in our communities as two of the largest contributors to underage usage is accessibility and permissive parenting. You know, you're a grown man at 18, come and drink a beer with your dad. That's illegal. It might be a cultural one, but that's still illegal. So if we are really concerned, and I'm not telling anybody how to parent, you do you, right?
Sure.
I'm just telling you what the data says. The data says that if we want to address underage drinking and substance use by minors, we limit the amount of accessibility to the minor. And this is my concern, is that now that you're taking away some of those checks that you may, I'm not saying you will, you may lead to easier accessibility to minors.
For more information on youth substance prevention programs and mental health resources, contact the Piatt County Mental Health Center. Coming up shortly on this expanded newscast, the August weather outlooks. The Logan County Fair is underway in Lincoln, bringing a full week of livestock shows, youth project displays, and traditional county fair and grandstand entertainment. Reagan Tibbs, commercial ag educator at the University of Illinois Extension in Logan County, explains the general project show starts Monday morning, featuring entries from Logan County alongside guest exhibitors from Sangamon and Menard counties. Livestock judging begins Tuesday with the rabbit show, followed by swine and goats on Wednesday, and beef and sheep shows on Thursday.
So it officially will start this upcoming Sunday and then go through to the following Sunday. But I think most of the major events start on Monday and Tuesday in terms of grandstand events. For 4-H, though, we're kind of scattered all over the week. So on Monday will be our general projects show. A little bit different this year. We'll have some folks from both Sangamon and Menard County come up for it. We changed our schedule around. And so you'll see some agronomy projects from our other two counties be there, along with a couple other areas. And so that'll be Monday morning and kind of end in an early afternoon part. And then after that, you get to see those projects for the rest of the week. And then we'll get to reach out to those kids if they got promoted to as a state fair delegate or alternate. Then Tuesday is our rabbit show. It's our first live animal show of the fair. That'll happen Tuesday morning. Wednesday, we have our swine show, and then followed by our goat show in the afternoon. Then Thursday is our beef and sheep shows. So they're both kind of running at the same time. So that's really when we kind of have to be all hands on deck, where we have, someone will be over at the beef show, making sure that's running okay. Someone else is over at the sheep show, making sure that's okay. Plus the support we have in the office to get things going through the rest of the week. Then Thursday is our last kind of official day for 4-H events. And then Sunday is our youth auction. So eligible youth who showed either steers, lambs, or barrows, or meat goat wethers get to put one animal in the sale, and we get to raise money for those youth moving forward for their project. So we have a lot of support come out from the community, a lot of people who come out and support those youth, and we're able to raise a lot of money for those young folks to help continue with their 4-H careers.
In addition to traditional judging, Wednesday night features the long-standing 4-H scramble in the grandstands, along with recognition of graduating 4-H seniors. The week concludes on Sunday with the annual youth livestock auction.
The tries, or even on, Wednesday night, we have our 4-H scramble night. So we have our chicken, pig, goat, and steer scrambles, which, are kind of a tradition for Logan County Fair. As long as I can remember, we've had those scrambles out there. So hopefully, last couple of years we've had rain that's prevented us from being out on the track where we host the scramble nights. So hopefully this year the rain will hold off and we're actually able to have those out on the track. And again, get to see all the folks who come out to Scramble Night in the grandstand to support 4-H, a night dedicated to 4-H. It's not just the scrambles. We also honor 4-H seniors who are graduating from our program. So it really is a wonderful night to celebrate youth and 4-H. So yeah, they do make a very good point about ensuring that our 4-H youth get to be there and have those experiences. Like you said, it's not just a 4-H fair. It's a whole week where we get to celebrate youth and agriculture in our county.
For a full schedule of 4-H judging times, grandstand events, and gate admission details, visit LoganCountyFairIL.com. Also, be sure to tune in for live coverage from the Logan County Fair on Wednesday on WHOW when we'll broadcast live from 12:20 p.m. to 1 p.m. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. Let's take a quick break with a word from our sponsors.
It's the quiet moments you count on. A call that connects instantly, a show that never buffers, a home that just works. That's the difference with Connexus Fiber Internet. We built a buried fiber network designed for consistency, earning us the title of top-rated fiber internet provider in Illinois. With plans starting as low as $25 a month and 3-year price lock options, it's reliability you can feel without the unpredictability. Because with Connexus, connection means everything. Experience better at Connexus.com. Nothing Connexus like Connexus.
Baum Chevrolet Buick offers full transportation options while giving you peace of mind. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. This is what we do every day. We listen to you, give you options for routine maintenance, major mechanical problems, or collision repairs with a staff that's knowledgeable to find the best option for you. Baum Chevrolet Buick, your full-service dealer. See us at baumchevybuick.com right from the start.
News time is 20 minutes after the top of the hour. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. As Central Illinois moves into August, weather forecasters are tracking shifting temperature trends and precipitation chances across the region. Ed Shimon with the National Weather Service in Lincoln explains early August will likely see above normal temperatures before conditions settle towards seasonal averages by mid-month.
Right, yeah. The 6 to 10 is August 1st to the 5th, and that's above normal temps. And then the 8 to 14 as well is above normal temps, even a tick higher, 60th percentile of above normal temp probabilities there. Precipitation-wise is just near normal for the next 2.5 weeks in the outlooks. And then the week 3 to 4, all the way through August 21st, starts tipping towards below normal precip and near normal temperatures. So that's not a good sign. So hopefully we can get plenty of moisture in the first couple of weeks of August. But I'm not holding my breath yet. I don't see a lot of options for storms at this point. And when there's a heat signature, it's more popcorn up and down storms, and it's hit or miss. So it's going to kind of be luck of the draw with rainfall, I think, in the next 3 weeks.
Shimon notes August outlooks show equal chances for above or below normal temperatures, with average high temperatures typically stepping down from the mid-80s in the early in the month into the upper 70s by late August. However, the area will need consistent rainfall to reach its typical monthly average of around 3.5 inches.
Yeah, I've got the August outlook up in front of me here, and it looks like we're right on the edge of above normal temperatures. There's a below normal pocket in the upper Midwest. So roughly equal chances of above or below normal there. And we're normally in August, falling back into the lower 80s to start the month, and then or mid 80s to start the month, and then the upper 70s, I think, as we close out the month. So above normal precipitation is also in there. So that's kind of nice. We do need some moisture in August. Showing that is good because that's typically when we stay dry and hot and just really sap the moisture out of the soil and start, potentially into that fall, early, drought conditions, so to speak. So if we can realize, at least normal rainfall, which is roughly 4.5 inches, that'd be good.
Beyond regional forecasts, the National Weather Service is gearing up for the Illinois State Fair in Springfield from August 13th through the 23rd. Shimon explains his staff will provide real-time weather monitoring for fairgoer safety while also hosting an outreach booth featuring educational safety materials for the public.
So it is a drier month in general, because July is like at 4.91 average, and you really get a lot of heavier rains during that time. And then August, it's drier, a full 1.5 inches almost below normal less than July. So we really would hopefully get all 2 or 3.5 inches that we are supposed to get in August to keep the soil from really drying out and priming for a pretty impactful drought as we head into fall potentially.
For continuous weather updates and local forecasts, visit weather.gov/Lincoln. A lesson in dew point from Illinois state climatologist Trent Ford, which was a significant issue across Illinois earlier last week.
So a better representation of the effect of humidity on humans, but also thinking about plants, and just the overall kind of humidity and the mugginess of the air is the dew point temperature. The dew point represents the temperature that the air can get to before it becomes saturated and it starts condensing out that moisture. So if you have, let's say, a 75-degree dew point temperature, that means that the air at nighttime is probably very rarely going to get below that dew point temperature. And actually, the temperature can't drop below the dew point. So it gives you an idea of how muggy the air is. And the closer the dew point is to the actual air temperature, the closer you are to saturation, so the more humidity you have. Yeah, we were mentioning, the air temperatures really on Sunday and Monday weren't overly impressive. We saw highs in the upper 80s, some low 90s, but the dew point temperature was also in the upper 70s to low 80s. And to give you an idea for dew point, we as Midwesterners start to feel the humidity at dew points above 60 degrees. Anything above 65 to 70, you start feeling pretty oppressive. Anything above 70 is very, very oppressive heat, or at least humidity.
Ford provided an example last Tuesday morning at 8:30 at Scott Air Force Base near Belleville, where the air temperature was only 85 degrees, but the dew point was 80, giving the heat index of 100 degrees. It was about a year ago when the Illinois State Fair lined up Ella Langley. Since then, the country music recording artist has risen to the top of the charts and is a major attraction. An exciting get, says State Fair manager Rebecca Clark.
It's going to be so much fun to say I saw her at the Illinois State Fair. You're right. We've had Ella Langley booked, and the days are all running together. So it was either right before last year's fair or shortly after last year's fair. As you know, tickets went on sale before the holidays, so they made great Christmas gifts for folks. But it's really excited to see her grow and her popularity rise, and to think that we're going to be able to see it right here in our own backyard.
Ella Langley will take the State Fair grandstand stage on Friday, August 21st. It may be late summer, but veggie gardeners should consider if they plan to extend their growing season past the first frost, and if so, how they should go about it. Rod Bain reports. Now for your local obituaries. Dale E. Barr, 80, of Lane, Illinois, passed away at 12 p.m. July 31st at Goldwater Care in Clinton. Arrangements are incomplete at Calvert Funeral Home in Clinton. Online condolences may be made at calvertmemorial.com. Jeffrey Allen Adams, 70, of Clinton, passed away on July 21st, 2026. Graveside services will be 2 p.m. Thursday, August 6th at Pleasant Valley Cemetery in Kenny, Illinois. Get news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com. Network news is now.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. President Trump's $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund, it's been officially terminated by Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche. The action follows weeks of talks with two Republican senators. They have been blocking Blanche's nomination to become Attorney General. President holding off on launching a major attack on Iran. Mr. Trump says the Gulf allies requested the pause, as did Tehran. Mr. Trump also says an agreement with Iran is close at hand and talks with Tehran will resume later today. Driven by high winds, wildfires have destroyed hundreds of homes and other buildings, forced thousands to run for their lives in and around Spokane, Washington. So much rain falling in such a short span of time, resulting in severe flooding across parts of northwestern North Carolina and neighboring southwest Virginia. Dow futures 474 points higher. This is SRN News.
Imagine getting this kind of news. Karen Collins was in her 20s. She was newly married, and then her husband, Michael, was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer.
And he told me, and I just cried because I didn't really know what the plan was.
There was another fear to the medical bills, and thankfully they were members of MediShare, and MediShare came through for them, and not just financially.
But they called and they said, hey, we know you're going through treatment. We just wanted to call and pray for you. And it rocked my world. And every time they called, it was like, how can we pray for you right now? How are you doing today?
MediShare was a blessing to us because they just made it so easy.
Yes, MediShare can save you a lot of money. But as Karen and Michael discovered, it's also about knowing you're not going through life's hardest moments alone. Call now. See why so many people have made the switch to MediShare. Here's the number. It's 844-45-BIBLE. That's 844-45-BIBLE. 844-45-BIBLE.
From the Hart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sportswire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local sports report. Anthony Kay tossed 6 1/3 scoreless innings. Andrew Benintendi, Everson Pereira, and Michael Vargas hit home runs, and the Chicago White Sox beat the AL leading Tampa Bay Rays 9-1 on Sunday.
The Sox won in dominating fashion on Sunday with a 9-1 win over the current number 1 seed in the AL. Anthony Kay pitched 6 1/3 of shutout baseball, and the lone run the Sox gave up came in the 9th while they were already holding a comfortable 9-0 lead. The Sox had 3 home runs today, including this one by Andrew Benintendi to put them up 3 early in the game.
In the first, that scored the first run. He hits a fly ball out in the deep right field, way back there. It is gone. His second home run of the weekend. It is 3-0.
It's an off day for the Sox on Monday. Tuesday, they're in Boston. It's a 6:10 first pitch on that one, 5:30 pregame show right here on the ESPN 1000 Hard Rock Casino White Sox Radio Network.
The Sox are off today, but will be back on WHOW tomorrow as they begin a midweek series with the Boston Red Sox. Pregame for each game in the series begins at 5:30 p.m. Jose Fermin hit a tie-breaking single in the 9th inning, and the St. Louis Cardinals defeated the Toronto Blue Jays 5-1 on Sunday, avoiding a 3-game sweep. Matthew Liberatore pitched 6 shutout innings, and George Soriano, who is 4-3, worked 1 inning for the win as the Cardinals used a 4-run 9th to snap an 8-game losing streak against Toronto. St. Louis won for the 5th time in 17 games since the All-Star break and scored more than 3 runs for the first time since a 7-0 win over Cincinnati on July 25th. Blue Jays closer Louis Varland is 3-4, and walked Mason Wynn to begin the ninth. Wynn advanced to third on a base hit by Brian Torres before scoring on Fairman's line drive single to center. Varland hadn't allowed a run since July 10th at San Diego. 2 outs later, Torres scored on a throwing error by second baseman Luis Urias. Jordan Walker followed with a 2-run single, chasing Varland. The 4 runs off Varland matched the number he allowed in 13 appearances in all of June. St. Louis opened the scoring in the 3rd inning when Nathan Church scored from first on a 2-out double by Lars Nootbaar. Alejandro Kirk's infield single in the 2nd was the only hit off Liberatore. The left-hander walked 1 and struck out 7. The Blue Jays tied it against Soriano in the 8th. Andres Jimenez reached on a 2-out single and stole second before scoring on Urias's double. Blue Jays right-hander Max Scherzer allowed 1 run and 4 hits in 6 innings. Scherzer walked 1 and struck out 5, boosting his career total to 3,512. Cardinals right-hander Michael McGreevy is 4-9 with a 3.57 ERA and is expected to start at New York on Monday against Yankees right-hander Cam Schlittler, who is 10-6 with a 2.04 ERA. Blue Jays right-hander Shane Bieber is 2-2 with a 5.74 ERA and is scheduled to start at Houston on Monday against Astros righty Christian Javier, who is 1-1 with a 7.17 ERA. Jose Caballero lined a 2-run homer. Garrett Cole pitched into the 6th inning, and the New York Yankees hung on to top the Chicago Cubs 2-1 on Sunday. New York got 3 1/3 scoreless innings from relievers Brent Hedrick, Paul Blackburn, and David Bednar to take 2 of 3 at Wrigley Field. Seiya Suzuki finished with 2 hits for Chicago, including a double. Michael Busch had an RBI. Cole is 5-5 and yielded 1 run on 4 hits in his 13th start since coming back from Tommy John surgery. The right-hander struck out 5 and walked 3, but needed a lift from the bullpen. Hedrick relieved Cole with the bases loaded and 2 outs in the 6th and got Nico Horner to fly out. He struck out the side in the 7th. David Bednar entered with 2 outs in the 8th and got Ian Happ to fly out with runners on 2nd and 3rd. Bednar worked around a walk in the 9th for his 24th save. Colin Rea is 8-8 and allowed 2 runs on 3 hits. He struck out 7, including the first 5 Yankees hitters, and walked 1. Caballero, who added a single, ended an 18-game drought without going deep. He lined a 408-foot drive against the wind to left center in the 3rd inning to give New York a 2-0 lead. Suzuki led off the 4th with a double, then scored on Busch's single to cut it to 2-1. Cubs lefty Matthew Boyd is 6-1 with a 3.14 ERA and gets the start as Chicago begins a 3-game series against the Dodgers on Monday. Los Angeles has not named a starter. Yankees right-hander Cam Schlittler is 10-6 with a 2.04 ERA and starts against right-hander Michael McGreevy for the Cardinals. The Chicago Cubs bolstered their rotation on Sunday night, acquiring right-hander Kevin Gausman in a trade with the Toronto Blue Jays. Chicago also traded Jamison Talon and cash to Toronto on Sunday for a player to be named or cash. Talon was designated for assignment by the Cubs last Monday. The durable Gausman, who is eligible for free agency after this season, is 5-10 with a 4.38 ERA in 23 starts. He pitched at least 174 2/3 innings and made at least 31 starts in each of the previous 5 years. The Blue Jays acquired minor leaguers Brett Bateman and Ty Southesine in the deal with the Cubs. Bateman was an 8th-round pick in the 2023 amateur draft, and Southesine was a 4th-round selection in 2024. Bateman, a 24-year-old outfielder, hit .312 with 3 homers, 20 steals, and 33 RBIs in 82 games for AAA Iowa this season. Southesine, a 21-year-old shortstop, hit .326 in 44 games for High A South Bend. And scores from around the MLB on Sunday. The Philadelphia Phillies shut out the Baltimore Orioles 8-0 and only played 6 innings. The Atlanta Braves beat the Washington Nationals 4-2. The Cleveland Guardians blanked the Arizona Diamondbacks 5-0, while the Miami Marlins shut out the New York Mets 2-0. The Cincinnati Reds routed the Pittsburgh Pirates 10-2, while the Houston Astros beat the Texas Rangers 7-3. The Colorado Rockies beat the Kansas City Royals 8-1, while the Los Angeles Angels shut out the Milwaukee Brewers 3-0. The Detroit Tigers routed the Athletics 11-0, while the Seattle Mariners beat the Minnesota Twins 7-6. The San Diego Padres beat the San Francisco Giants 5-4, and the Boston Red Sox beat the Los Angeles Dodgers 8-4. Get highlights of your local high school program by finding IL SportsWire on your preferred social media platforms, and get local sports anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. Becoming mainly sunny with fog and spots early today, with highs around 82. Northeast winds around 5 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies. Tonight, lows dip down to about 62. Lots of sunshine tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 83. Hear weather twice an hour or online anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com. Right now, it's